Hello, smart people. How are you today? I am well. The sun is shining. I can see the sun shining onto my balcony. The sky is blue and it's warm. And after this, I'm going to go and buy myself some cake in the local patisserie because, you gotta have cake in life. That is one of my core beliefs. Cake is important. So, I've been having adventures in Texas and New Mexico this week, and I'm very excited. These are virtual adventures, though. I am not actually in Mexico or in Texas. I am still in the south of France, where the sky is blue today. But I am the lead instructor on a project with Blackstone, which is a massive fund manager, and Techstars. Techstars is one of the leading tech accelerators, and they are doing a project at the University of Texas, and I'm the lead instructor there. And this is a project that we're working on for April. I'm teaching entrepreneurship and technology to 24 teams, and those teams are going to compete in a pitch competition to investors, which is going to happen at the end of April. And you have actually heard these investors speak on this very podcast. So one of them is David Segura, who is a very successful non-technical founder who has invested in around 60 startups by now. And Alexandra Zubko, who's also a successful non-technical founder. And we had an episode with her about 6 months ago. There are other judges as well, but it's interesting that the rise of the non-technical founder is now being picked up by some huge institutions. So our word is spreading. And it's so easy to focus on all the opportunities that we've lost in this weird year. But many of us have also gained a lot. So, for example, in the Tech for Non-Techies community, which began in London, we've now got participants all around the world. So we had a member meetup yesterday, and we had members joining us from New York and from Chicago, where I used to live, and Toronto, where I've never actually been to, but I would like to change that, and Brighton. And this wouldn't have happened a year ago when the focus was strictly London because we were limited by our geographies and we were kind of limited in our thinking. And without this new normal of working from home and online learning, this member meetup that we had, or me working literally on a project in Texas from France, wouldn't have been possible. So in some ways, our world has shrunk during the pandemic, but in others, it has massively expanded. So a year ago, I was teaching my course at London Business School in a classroom, which is amazing. Like being with people and seeing their eyes light up. It is a magical experience. But I am still seeing that over Zoom with my project and my students in Texas. So it's interesting how the accepted wisdom has changed. And I think that once the world opens up again, and that's already happening, I do think that the habits that we have now, they're not going to change completely. Yes, we are going to be with people, and I do think in the first couple of months, we're really going to be drinking in all of that company. But I also think that we are still going to keep some of those habits. So we are going to be meeting in person and connecting to people all around the world online. And so I actually think that our opportunities have expanded because of our new habits. And I'm feeling super optimistic. I think we're going to have a lot more fun and we're going to have a lot more opportunity. And those are good things. So whether someone is in Texas or in London or in Chicago or in New York, the questions that they have about tech products are the same. And the mistakes they make are the same. So listen up. Developers have asked me about what is the product metric that we're working towards, because that's a product metric that they're working towards. Designers have asked me the same thing. So literally, this episode is important for anybody who is making tech products or funding them. But remember, what is a product? We have an episode on that on this very podcast. It was just a few episodes ago. So go back and listen to that What is a Product episode. It is one of the core concepts. Put simply, a product is a solution to a problem that somebody is experiencing. I like to use the example of a glass. I use a glass because I'm thirsty and I want a sip of water. The glass is a solution to my problem. As a user, I'm thinking about my problem being that I'm thirsty. I'm not thinking about the solution. I'm not sitting here thinking, geez, I really want to use a glass. No, I'm thinking I want to relieve myself of my thirst. And the glass helps me do that. Now that we've identified that a product is a solution to a problem that somebody is experiencing, it follows then that the goal of your product is to solve that problem. So literally, that's the most important thing you need to know. The goal of your product is to solve a problem for somebody. So let me tell you what a goal is not. Gamification is not a goal. Having videos in the product is not a goal. Having 10 or 100 screens in your app, that is not a goal. All of these might help you reach your goal, but they are just tools, they're just steps that you would take to get there. Today, you can get a castle on Airbnb, but it had much more humble beginnings. It was not a castle's lettings agency. The founders of Airbnb began renting out nights on their air mattress in their apartment, literally to make ends meet. Like, they didn't have much money, they had an air mattress, they're both designers, and there was a design conference happening in San Francisco, and they literally just put out an ad to people who were coming to the design conference saying, we've got this air mattress, we've got some toast, it's going to be lovely, we're also going to the conference, come and stay with us, and it's not going to be very expensive. Once that worked, other people in the founders network basically started joining them and started doing the same. So renting out spare capacity in their homes. What they were renting out were air mattresses, sofa beds, spare rooms to get a bit of extra cash. The first people who were using Airbnb were not looking for castles. They were looking for cheap accommodation for when they travel. This is a perfect match. You have people who want to save a bit of money when they're traveling, and you want to have people who want to make a little bit of money and have capacity. The metric of success for both of these people was a booking. If a booking is made, the guest gets a cheap place to stay and the host gets paid. So the key metric the Airbnb product would measure is the number of nights booked. Think about it. Each night represents a problem being solved for the host and the guest. So Airbnb is measuring the number of nights booked, the number of problems solved, because a product is a solution to a problem. So when you're thinking of building a product or funding one, think about what metric you want to see that says, yes, we are solving the problem for this person. So this is why you always need to go back to the problem that you're solving and to the person whom you're solving it for. You could have a great product metric and crappy business metrics. So for example, you could have lots and lots of nights booked, but if the cut that you are taking from those booking payments, the cut that you're taking is very small, you won't be able to pay for the tech infrastructure to support this whole system. So you see, profits are not a product goal, they are a business goal. One of the things that product managers and founders have to work out is how product goals help you achieve business goals. And this is what investors are looking for too. Investors are in the game to make money. Literally, that is their whole job.